It is 1:30, and this is our tech review meeting, and it is Tuesday, June 2nd. Do we have Councilman Rapson on the line?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we do have.
And Councilman Worston as well.
Okay, and Councilman Worston, so everybody is accounted for. Excellent. Okay, we'll start out with public comment. If you have public comment to make, please step up to the front, clearly state your name. You're limited to 3 minutes. Okay, seeing and hearing none, we will go to the consent agenda. Item 2.1 is consideration for approval of the Tuesday, June 9th, 2020 regular city council meeting agenda, April 28th, 2020 regular city council meeting minutes, the May 5th, 2020 technical review meeting minutes, and the May 19th, 2020 technical review meeting minutes. Any comment? Okay. Do we have Councilwoman Black on the line? I haven't heard her. Okay. Okay, item 2.2 is consideration approval, notification of budget transfers, amendments, bills paid, and purchase orders. Any comment? Okay. And public comment?
There are none.
None. Okay, nobody's called. Okay. Special item 3.1, report by 333 Eagles Landing LLC regarding the terms of the purchase and sale agreement dated April 12, 2016, entered into between the City of Mesquite and 333 Eagles Landing LLC and other matters properly related thereto. Okay, is anybody addressing that issue? Richard, have you talked with them, or? You have, okay.
333 Eagles Landing has met the commitments of the agreement. All the terms were agreed to, and so they're just reporting to the council, let them know that.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. Okay, any comment from council on that? Any comments from the public? Any e-comment?
No e-comments.
Okay, mayor's comments, nothing particular at this point. City council, I'm sure somebody will have something.
I will, I'm thinking.
Okay, okay, and staff, we don't know yet. Okay. Okay, item 5.1 is an introduction of a bill. Consideration for introduction of bill number 576 to amend Mesquite Municipal Code sections 9-8-5L, accessible parking for physically handicapped persons. Okay, is that yours, Richard? Okay, any questions of Richard on that item? Any public comment on that item?
No e-comments.
And no e-comment. Okay, number 5.2 is consideration of introduction of bill number 578, amending Title IX of Mesquite Municipal Code entitled United Development Code by amending sections 9.7 F4, accessory uses in the single family zone, section 9.7 F6, height and area regulations in the single family SF zone and other matters properly related thereto. That would be Mr. Sechrist also. Any questions of Mr. Sechrist from council?
Yeah, Richard, George here. Just so I'm clear, so if there's an HOA involved, this is pretty much irrelevant. The HOAs, the PUDs, the design standards or whatever would address setbacks and auxiliary structures, right?
Yeah, if there were differences between the two, their design standards handbooks would rule in those cases.
Okay. So this would typically be for non-HOA structures.
That's correct.
And the
Now,
principal.
in some cases, let me back up. In the PUDs, if their standards don't address the issue, in other words, if they're silent on it, then the city standard would apply in those cases. But if they don't have a standard, they have guidelines for the issue, then those are the ones we would follow.
Got it. And so for the most part, what this does is just ensures that auxiliary structures don't encroach on utility easements without approval by the utilities and or build too close to property lines so drainage and other view sightline issues don't occur, correct?
Yes. The primary issue that we're trying to address is accessory buildings that are small enough that they don't require a permit. We've had a rash of problems lately with people that they find out they don't need a permit, so they just put up a building anywhere without regard to setbacks or easements, things of that nature. We're trying to clarify what the standards are and do a little bit of an education campaign, I guess, so that we can avoid those problems that create frictions between neighbors.
Got it. So it doesn't prohibit them from building the smaller structures, it just makes them conform to certain setbacks.
That's correct.
Got it, thank you.
Okay. Any other comment from council? Comments from the general public? Any e-comments?
There are none.
Okay. Item 6.1 will be consideration of adoption of Bill 579 as ordinance 579 to repeal and amend portions of Mesquite Municipal Code Title I, Section 6, Part 2, governing qualifications for the office of city council member. That'll be a public hearing item. Okay. Questions from council on that? Questions from the general public? Okay. Any e-comment?
There are none.
Okay. Item 7.1 will be consideration for approval of tentative map case number TM-20-002, Hilltop Vista Subdivision Phase 2, to approve a 30-unit townhome development on 4.73 acres on Haley Way in the Mesquite Vistas Plan Unit Development. That's a public hearing item. That's Mr. Seacrest. Any question of Mr. Oh, okay. Dan, any questions? I don't see any questions from the general public. Okay. Item 7.2 is consideration for approval of tentative map case number TM-20003, the Cambria subdivision, phases 2, 3, and 4, to subdivide 38.58 acres into 120 single-family residential lots plus common open space areas. The site is located on the southwest side of Kensington Avenue between Canyon Crest Boulevard and Oasis Boulevard. And that'll be a public hearing item. Any questions from council on that item? Any questions from the general public? Any e-comment?
There are none.
Silent people today. All right. Yeah, 7.3, presentation and possible direction on the National League of Cities Service Line Warranty Program. That's Travis. Travis and I have had a couple discussions about that. For some reason, they send me all this literature. Go ahead, Travis.
So, just real briefly tonight, we do have a small packet that, as part of the National League of Cities, there's a program that will be separate from the city of Mesquite. It's basically an insurance program that individual homeowners can buy, and it applies to the sewer line. Many residents don't realize that they're responsible for the sewer line all the way their lateral to the main line. So this will help if they ever have a clog. This is what this handles. And there will be a representative next Tuesday, which will give the presentation. But he wanted me to hand out these small packets, and I'll make sure that Martine gives to the council members who aren't here today. But basically, in the presentation, and then we're asking for direction, possible direction, if possible. So.
Okay. Any questions of Travis from council? Any questions from the general public? Any e-comment?
There are none.
Okay. Travis, is this a company that the National League of Cities approves of, or they just advertise through? Because I looked online, and there are several of them out there, and if you look at the consumer reports and so forth, comments on them, it's like you're wasting your money type program.
From my understanding, this is a company that is approved through the National League of Cities to provide this service. And that'll be a great question as far as Mr. Bill Coffey. He's the regional account director for this home service company, which is the one. So the main thing is it is no obligation. The city is not involved in this. It's simply the biggest thing of why they bring it to the city is to make sure that we're okay with that. And then they also have a marketing agreement, which allows them to use the City of Mesquite logo to show that we do, if we so choose, that we do say this is a good idea if you want to do it, but the residents have zero obligation to go along with this, and they don't. We don't bill anything. It's nothing to do through the city billing process.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Item 7.4 is consideration of new lease rates. There's something going on. Okay. Consideration of new lease rates at the Jimmy Hughes campus for the period of July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2022 for the Jimmy Hughes campus leaseholders. Okay. Comments from council? That's Mr. Montoya, if you have anything to address directly. Okay. I don't see any. Comments from the general public on that? Yes, please step up and clearly state your name.
Jan Hansen from the Virgin Valley Artists. Kathleen Burkholz is not here, but she pointed out that we have a 4-year lease in effect right now. It's been in effect for 2 years. And your guidelines for this rental raise in the rent rate is a 2-year, but we have a lease that we've signed, a contract we've signed for 4 years.
Okay, Mr. Montoya can answer that, I think.
Okay, great.
Now, that's the VVAA, correct?
Yes.
You do have that agreement for the theater, not the theater, but your arts building. That is on a different agreement. This is for the Jimmy Hughes campus. That's for the arts building across the kitty corner from City Hall.
Okay.
Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Any other comments while Nick is up here, or questions from the audience? Any e-comment?
There are none.
Thank you, Ms. Montoya. Okay, so we're down to final public comment. If you have final public comment to make, please step up, clearly state your name, and you are limited to 3 minutes. I don't see any. Any e-comment? Oh, go ahead.
I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to announce that Nick and I have been working on a ribbon cutting for the new bike path stretch between Old Mill and Mesquite Boulevard. We're going to cut a ribbon at 8 o'clock on next Tuesday morning. And everybody's, if you haven't looked at the bike path, it's just terrific. So
Thank you.
please come and join us.
Okay, and
One other question.
yes,
about-
go ahead.
Can we talk about the parade or whatever it is for Thursday?
Not really, I don't think. I mean, it's, Counselor, you can answer that one, because
Yeah.
it's
If
kind of an unknown right now.
If it's under council comments, you could do it. I did speak with the city manager this morning. If there's an interest in holding a meeting on that, we are under a state of emergency as things exist
could,
now.
yeah.
So the mayor or the unanimous council could decide to hold an emergency meeting if we did want to talk about that further.
Okay.
But if you're just making council comments, you can comment on it, but we just probably shouldn't engage in there shouldn't be any deliberations toward a decision. We'd need to call a special meeting to do that.
I wasn't thinking about deliberation, I was just trying to find out information about it.
Yeah, I think you can do that. If it's during your council comment period, which I believe you're under.
Yeah, I think the best source would be Chief Chesley at this point to answer any questions on that. I've looked at social media, which we're being bombarded with every kind of rumor under the sun as to what's taking place in Mesquite on Thursday. As far as I'm concerned, at this point, it's all rumor. I don't know. Chief, you want to make any comment? Absolutely.
Yes, so we know the nationwide unrest that's going throughout the entire nation. It's a concern for the Mesquite Police Department. We want everyone to know that we respect and would applaud and assist people in their rightful peaceful protest. That's what's important, is we need to keep it peaceful, civil, and we do respect the Constitution and people's right to peacefully protest. That's something we would applaud and assist and stand with people to protest. We do need to make sure it's clear that everyone knows that while you do have the opportunity to protest, that it needs to be peaceful, and that we as a police department also have it's under our jurisdiction or our responsibility to assure those there's no crime occurring, that property damage, or that we want to make sure people are safe. So we're assuring that although we want people to protest peacefully, we need to make sure the police department is aware of the issues that have came up, and we're going to make sure that there isn't property damage, that there isn't lives put at risk. So that's where the police department comes into play. Is we're prepared to allow and help people to peacefully protest, but we need to make sure that it is peaceful, that no laws are being violated, that buildings aren't being ransacked, looted, those type of things. We hope that Mesquite has a reputation of people caring for each other, and we have a great community, and I believe that whatever happens in Mesquite, that we can keep it peaceful and respect one another, and stand together and do this peacefully, and that's what the police department will be there to assure that happens. So we are aware of things that are being passed along nationwide, citywide, countywide, and we're keeping a good eye on those things, and working with organizers of these events to make sure these events are peaceful.
Thank you. Okay, any other comment before we close? Okay, seeing and hearing none, meeting is adjourned. Thank you.